こんにちは、りゅういちです。来ていただいてありがとうございます。楽しんでいただけると良いのですが、This podcast on YouTube is mainly for the people studying Japanese. I would like to help you to listen to and understand Japanese. I really wish you to enjoy this. I'm waiting for your messages, questions, and requests. And I am going to make all in the English episode for today because I didn't make it. I make it a rule to make all English episode on Sunday, but I didn't yesterday, so I was going to. But to be honest, I don't have so much time because my wife came home today much earlier than usual, which is very good for us, of course. But I don't have so much time to record today's episode, so I am going to speak in English as much as I can, and something I could say, I'll speak it in Japanese afterwards. Today, and I'm going to recommend Luke's English, forgive me, excuse me, Luke's English podcast, and the episode number 385 and 386, Breaking the Intermediate Plateau, Part 1 and Part 2. Because I'm going to recommend this because I think it is applied, maybe, is it correct? Applied to any other language to study. Applied for studying any other languages. And it's a bit too much to say about this, but I think it's applied to our life. A bit too much, but I think so. And I think first, I think he's so amazing because he knows the ability of intermediate English speaker like me. This podcast, 2 episodes, I listened to it and almost everything he said. I think he's speaking very fast, as fast as almost natural native speaker does, but almost a native speaker does, but I could understand it, almost everything, not perfectly, but so anyway, yes, he's a very great teacher. He's a great English teacher, I think. But to be honest, what he said in the 2 episodes is not so new. I've ever heard his tips and advices. I've ever heard almost everything, but knowing it and doing it is different, of course. Knowing it and doing it is different, and I have to check it out by myself, which is my weak point. Which part of them I'm poor, and I have to check it by myself and pay more effort on it. And from my viewpoint, I'd like to say this. This is most important for today. This is the most important for today, from my viewpoint. And don't forget that a language is just a tool. To study language and to master language isn't a goal, I think. And what is most important is, what do you want to do by the language you're studying? So, and most important point to study language is, I think, of course, not to give up and not to burn out. So I should enjoy it, and sometimes I feel, of course, sometimes I feel I'm lazy, and sometimes I feel I cannot make progress, but that's necessary not to give up. Not to give up. And as I've ever talked in my episodes, in my podcast episodes, in Japanese maybe, but in the very first beginning of studying Finnish language, I made some Finnish friends. Even though I couldn't speak just a few words of Finnish, but first I did was to make Finnish friends. And to be honest, I'm very sorry for them, and of course I'm very thankful for them because they still keep in touch with me, and of course in English, of course. But I think it is the most important point, not to give up. What is your pleasure to study the language? So I made friends at first. I should have made it at second or later maybe, but I did it at first. And recently I've got a friend as a native English speaker. This is my first native English speaker friend. This is my first, but it changed me so much. So I think, of course, I'm kind of perfectionist, and I know, and language exchange. We have many ways to do it, but it is very interesting, and it's a kind of opportunity to make friends with. So I recommend you to make friends and do language exchanges. That's very interesting, and I have a lot of fun from it. For example, to be honest, we native speakers don't know much of the grammar of the mother tongue. I don't know much grammar of Japanese, but we have to check it, for example, on the internet of Japanese grammar, and how they don't understand it, and studying Japanese people. It's very interesting, and so it's a very new, fresh viewpoint for me about Japanese. So it gives us a lot of pleasure. It is very good to do. So I'd like to say, don't forget, language is just a tool. What is most important is what do you want to do with the language, and never give up, never burn up. Never give up and never burn out. And for that, make friends and language exchange is very effective, very good. So, I could almost everything I could in English. I didn't intend to, but I think I'll edit today's episode afterwards, so it is a bit shorter, but I think it's okay for today's. So of course this is a podcast 少しゆっくり日本語, so I will upload Japanese episode tomorrow, but today I'd like to say thank you for everyone to listen to this podcast till the end. Thank you very much. Bye bye.ぜひまたいらしてください。ありがとうございました。失礼いたします。